Volume is always area of the base times the height. Yep. And the base is the shape that repeats, right? So this shape right here repeats at the back, right there. So that makes this the base, and since it repeats in that direction, that's the height. So if I can find the area of this red part, I will know. Now, I purposefully drew the diagram not to scale to make you have to think. This is what it really looks like. This end is 1, this whole end is 8, but that means this part is 1, and the rest of that side is the other part of the 8, which is 7. So this rectangle is 15, and this triangle is 7 times 15 divided by 2, which is 105 divided by 2, which is 52.5. So the area of the base, volume equals area of the base times the height, is 52.5 times, 67.5 times the height, which is 6, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 405. 405. But I am filling the hose, I'm only filling it to 85%. So I have to multiply that by 0.85 to get 344.25 meters cubed. Now, the hose flows at 1.8 meters per hour. So I have to divide that by 1.8, and it will take 191.25 hours. Any questions? Again, it's just a prism and a volume question. Now this next one is kind of tricky. 1 liter equals 1,000 centimeters cubed. Well, I have 344.25 meters cubed. I need centimeters cubed. So I need centimeters cubed over meters cubed. Well, 1 meter cubed, 1 meter is 100 centimeters, yes? But since it's cubed, I got to do it 3 times, right? 100 times 100 times 100. So this is 100 cubed times 344.25. That equals 344,250,000 centimeters cubed, right? 1 liter is 1,000 of these, so I got to divide that by 1,000, cancel the zeros, and I need 344,250 liters. Okay? Again, it's just conversions. It's the same math we did on the very first day. This is a tricky question because I'm saying fill the net, right? Which means it's volume, isn't it? Except what shape are pucks? Circles. So if I draw the net, this is looking down on top of the net. The pucks make circles, don't they? What is that right there? And that right there. Empty space, isn't it? So, I can fill the front of the net. Oops, I should have drawn it red. From the front, I can put pucks across the front, can't I? right? How wide is this? 1.83 meters, yeah? How wide is a puck? 7.62 centimeters. So this 1.83 meters really needs to be 183 centimeters divided by 7.62. And I can fit 24 pucks across here. Everybody cool? Up and down, the net is 122 centimeters divided by a puck is 2.5 centimeters tall divided by 2.54. So I can get 48 pucks up and down. So when I look at the very front of the net, I can have 1,152 pucks in the front because I can go 24 across and 48 up. Everybody cool? But when I'm looking from the top downwards, I can also go back 100 centimeters, and pucks are 7.62. So I can fit 13 pucks going backwards. So in the front, there's 1,152 pucks, but I can go back 13 rows. So I got to multiply that by 13 to get 14,976. Everybody understand? It's a mixture of surface area and volume. We're skipping the soup question and we get to the bike question. Circumference equals pi d. How far could you travel on one turn of the front wheel? Well, that's how far you're going to go, right? The circumference of the wheel. So, circumference equals pi times the diameter. The diameter is 52 inches. So, 52 times pi is 163.4 inches. I want that in feet and inches. So I divide that by 12 to get 13 feet. And then I'm left over with 0.61 of a foot. And I want that in inches. So it's 0.61 times 12, which is 7 inches. In meters and centimeters, I take the 163.4 inches, and I want centimeters. So it's 2.54 over 1 inch. 163.4 times 2.54 is 415 centimeters, which is 4 meters, 15 centimeters. How many times do I have to go to travel a kilometer? How many meters in a kilometer? 1,000. And I go 4 meters, 4.15 meters every turn. So 1,000 divided by 4.15. And I get 241 turns. Small wheel to go a kilometer. Well, circumference equals pi times 18 inches. So 18 times pi. 18 times pi. 56.54 inches. Convert that to centimeters. 144 approximately centimeters. So that's 1,000 divided by 1.44 meters. Oops. Oh, yeah. 697. Okay? What'd you do?
The diameter of the big wheel divided by the diameter of the small one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just times the amount
works too. All right. You folks are now back to work on 226 to 228. I had a question about these two. I want to know how long this bar is. Assume that it starts at 0. I just didn't have room. You don't have to do subtraction there. Assume this ruler goes down to 0. Okay? Same thing here. Everybody cool? And that is due at 11:30. We're going till 12:05. Actually, you could probably have till 11:40. Maybe even 11:45. Okay? We'll see what things look like then. Remember, do not waste a lot of time on the question 31. Do that last if you even wish to try it. Okay? And tomorrow, second block is your test. Well, I remind you all, your test has multiple choice on it. You will need a pencil to fill in the scantrons. Okay? Because I don't have enough time to mark your tests by hand in summer school. I only mark the open-ended by hand. I am also going to give you your check my mark passwords. So this whole section's out of 9. Anybody want to ask about any of them? Anything highlighted, I will take. Everybody happy? Don't copy down the right answers. There's video of this for later. I want to make sure I get through it all. I can come back to it later if you want to copy down the right answers, but I want to make sure I get through this all before 12:05. Any questions? Once? Twice? Thrice? Okay. There. Now your photocopying is crappier than mine. So I will accept 4 5/8 up to 4 3/4. I will accept any of those because the photocopying is a little hazier than on mine. And on here, I will accept 8 9/16 up to 8 11/16. Anywhere in that range. They're worth 1 each because you're just reading the ruler. I will accept 10.5 liters, or if you insist, or if you assume that the paint comes in 1 liter cans, he has to buy an 11th can. That is worth 4, because you had to do a whole bunch of work to get there. Any questions about it? Making that page out of 15. 9 and 6 is 15. Everyone is good? Once, twice, thrice. Lovely. Remember, in these paint questions, you have to remember that the 3 meters high is the rectangle, right? These are worth 4 each, even though it's volume and surface area. You need to have them both to get the full 4. this is the surface area calculation because nobody ever asks about volume because everybody knows that volume is just that times 20. If you ask, I'll show you how I did it. But if you don't ask, all you see is the right answers. Navreet. Which one? 28? Surface area? 29? Surface area or volume? Or both? Both? All right. For surface area, I would pretend that was one prism. And I would do that. And then I would subtract out the part that's missing. So I would do 8 times 18 plus 4 times 18 plus 4 by 18, 8 by 18. What am I missing? 8 by 18. Oh, 4 by 8 to get 8 times 18 is 80 and 64 is 144 plus 4 times 18 is 72 plus 32 and then I would multiply that by 2 and then I would subtract this rectangle which is 2 by 9 and there's 2 of them. So I would subtract 36 because this is 18 and this is 18 and that's missing, right? And that would get me 460. Volume, I would find this whole area because that shape is repeated at the back and I would take all that blue and do times 8 for the height because it went backwards. Good? And then 30 is 200 pi or 628 and blah, whatever your decimals are. Also worth 4 marks. 31, anybody have 1.79 centimeters? Anyone? I don't have to give out any gummy bears? Okay, I'll show you how to do it if we have some time later. It's written all right over here on the right. It's easy to do, actually, to show you. 32 and 33 are out of 4 each. Oh, sorry. That page was out of 12. I will accept 864 pi or 2,714, whatever the decimals are. I will accept 3,136 pi or whatever the decimal is. It'll be somewhere around 11,000. And volume, 29,000 pi, which will be somewhere around 91,000 if you have the decimal. But I'll accept the pi or the decimal. And that page is out of 8. Making the whole thing out of 8 and 12 is 20 and 15. The whole thing is out of 35.
Wait, the last question?
The whole page is out of 8. Every box was out of 4 marks. Yeah, it's not worth anything. I'll show you how to do it right now. I'm going to show everybody once they have this added up. Now, okay, please put your score out of 35. I'll come around and get it before this break, Rajan. No, it doesn't count for marks. That's why it says bonus. It's out of 35. Now, the gummy bear question, you solve it like this. Again, I recommend watching me go over this because the math is good to see, so you can see other ways to think about these problems. Okay. Everybody understands that the water is in a cylinder, right? Right? And everybody understands this water is creating a cylinder, yeah? And that water is 25 centimeters high because the whole cylinder is 50 centimeters. The water goes up halfway, 25. And I know the cylinder has a radius of 8. So right now, the water volume is pi r squared h, which is pi times 8 squared times h. Times 25. Right? Everyone agrees? So 64 times 25 is, I could do that in my head, but it is going to take too long. We are running short on time. 1,600 pi. Everybody agree? That's the water right now. Yes? Now, when I drop in the prism has a base area of 20 and a height of 18. So the prism, which I'm going to draw in red, there it is, has a base area of 18 and a height of 20. So that's 360 centimeters cubed. Yes? Everyone agree? Okay. So right now, this is 1,600 pi, right? Everyone agrees? Centimeters cubed, yes? Now, what is going to happen to this water when I drop this in there? What happens in the tub when you get in the tub? The water goes up, right? So this water is going to come up to here. Now, what is the volume of all of this water? Well, if this was my volume of the water, and I added 360 centimeters cubed of prism, then don't I have 1,600 pi plus 360 for the prism? And now I have a new cylinder, don't I? That new cylinder has this volume, pi. It still has a radius of 8, but what does it have that's new? It's got a new height. So I just solve for h. So I have 1,600 pi plus 360. And I got to get rid of 64 pi, right? Because 8 squared, 64 pi h. Divide by 64 pi, divide by 64 pi, and I get h. So I go to my calculator. Oops. And I get 26.79 is my height. Right? How tall was the original one? 25. The new one is 26.79. So how far did it go up? 1.79. Everybody understand? Not really a big deal if you don't understand. That's like a crazy hard question. But even if you had no idea how to do it now and you could follow the thinking, you're in very good shape. Everybody cool? Yeah? Okay. So I got 11:53. You guys are supposed to be taking a break at 12:05. Now, the smart thing for me to do would be to review Pythagoras for 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So let's do that and get it out of the way. Please turn to... I don't know what page this will be for you guys. It'll be 2 or 3 pages away. Right there. 230. Anybody recognize the font? The hint is in how it's written. No, it's a geek check. Star Wars! Yeah, because it's how Yoda would say it. Yeah, good job, Jack. Go get a gummy bear. Or put it in the bank. Bank it. Oh, you know what? We should do that for the last 12 minutes. Let's do that first. Let's do some gummy bear questions, because that'll take up time, and we don't quite have enough time to properly review Pythagoras, so we'll do this instead. You guys have been working very hard today. You deserve the chance. Here we go. What's that? Cross stitch. Nice. Jack, are you going to the bank? Holy smokes. I pay interest every week. Not working right. Okay, ready? Banana split. Who was it? Rajan? Do you want a gummy bear or do you want to put it in the bank? Bank. Separated at birth. Who was that? Damon. Bank? Bank or gummy bear? Bank. And you already know cross stitch. That's the next one. And then the last one is whiteboard. Jaginder. Bank or gummy bear? Bank. Man, you guys are too smart. Okay, I got to set up the gummy bear interest spreadsheet, so I keep track of it. Well, right now you have 4, and I pay 5% per week, and it's compounded. So